This is my mid-project review, and I'll be going through my proposal, medium and method. My proposal is to create artistic representations of the quantified self through data visualization and generative art. Essentially, I would like to explore my handmade skills and computer-generated art equally. I will be looking at these areas. These are areas that inspire me. First, starting with data visualization and generative art, I looked at tools in which to do this. I won't be learning processing yet, but it's something that I wish to do next year. I started learning what data visualization actually is, and I think the most important thing is that it's context-free. Generative art, on the other hand, has a certain amount of autonomy, and I think my work is veering towards that way. Quantified self, there's a lot of stuff going around about this. Personal informatics, hacking the self. It's basically all the data that you can find about you. So I've been doing a lot of experimenting and data collection using things like Nike Fuel Band and sleep time apps, ways to record my sleep, and things like Wolfram Alpha here, which collects data from Facebook and things like that. So this is my sort of base form for for numbers, sorry. So I've done that sort of experimenting both in ink and in pen. I also did it in block using cork to create shapes and make blocks patterns out of. I sort of experimented with it, the isometric style, looked at Roman numerals and started to think about letter forms and number forms. Created patterns from those letters. Then I started looking at patterns from the numbers themselves, so looking at each number individually and creating patterns from them. Because I'm sort of trying to find a way to create art from patterns and from the actual data. And I started to think about, well, what will happen to my work? And I thought of perhaps it could be a living wallpaper, so changing as the data changes. People that have inspired me have been people like Laurie Frick, who collected data, her sleep data, through an app and created art out of it. So she's replicating the chart you previously saw. This is Stephanie Posavec's work, and she's created a key to produce some of that work, and it's very comparative. She's used this key here to define what her work is, and I think I'll try to do the same with mine. I'd like to just replicate simple tools like pie charts, bar charts, polar area charts, because essentially they're showing a percentage of a whole, and I'd like to do that in a much more artistic way. So this is an example of how a bar chart could look using my base forms. I'm envisaging creating patchworks, so these are sort of showing, again, percentages of a whole, and these are experiments using that sort of analogy of percentage of a whole, but using the patterns to represent the data. So essentially it could be a massive, large, full-scale piece of art. This is it blown up a little bit more,